Good day there viewers, my name is Cliff and welcome to my channel called Vintage Time. In today's episode of How to Cut Gemstones, I'll be featuring a design that was given to me by a gentleman in my faceting group, and this particular design is called the Illusional Eye. I have to say at this stage it's still really a test cut and it's in the prototype phase, and at the request of the designer I'm allowed to drop in an image of the design minus the degrees and index numbers. The gem will be cut in a kunzite coloured cubic zirconia, and I'm not really into synthetic gems, but quite a few of my subscribers actually requested could I actually make more videos on synthetic gems. Also recently I've been inspired to work more on elements of design using software like GemCut Studio. So in this video you'll be seeing screenshot footage of the cutting sequences that I've made up through the software, and hopefully that will be a feature in future videos. And for my regular subscribers who watch all my videos week after week, an update on Jaws. Jaws and myself are currently on September holidays, and Jaws has taken the time just to chill out lately. Nice one, Jaws, but let's have a look at the cutting sequence of this particular gem on this virtual drop stick with the virtual preform, and we're going to be starting with the pavilion facets, cutting 4 facets to a temporary meet point. These are your P1 facets, followed by the P2 facets, setting a girdle outline, G1 facets, P3 facets, another girdle outline cut, and the P4 facets. Now we're going to be starting with the crown, C1 facets, C2 facets, C3 facets, C4 facets, and the table coming up. So there we have it. So let's get started with faceting this particular gem. I have a fair bit of material to remove, so I'm using a very coarse grit diamond disc, and I'll be cutting temporary facets, the first 4 pavilion facets, to a meet point. I thought I'd mention also that the original designer, Tony, has made several other designs in a series called the Zigzag series, and each one of these designs has a girdle outline that is not even, they all zigzag. So from a faceting perspective, I was really intrigued with these zigzag girdles. You get to learn a lot, and you get to cut designs that are really out of the box. So here's a quick rough out on the 100 grit disc of the 4 pavilion facets that come to a temporary meet point. So we're talking about these facets here, and then what I'll do, I'll recut these facets on a 240 grit diamond disc, as you can see in this scene, and then they'll be recut again with a smoother grit diamond disc, the 800 grit. So before we go on to the next step, I made a computer generated simulation of what the gem should look like once completed. I think it's going to be a lot lighter, but anyway, let's move on to the next step. To cut the next set of pavilion facets, I've changed out the disc to an 800 grit diamond disc and changed the angle. So these will be the next 4 facets that I'll be cutting. So we have the pavilion 2 facets cut, They don't look 100% accurate yet, so I'll move on to cutting the girdle outline. Here is a sequence of the first 4 girdle facets that I'll cut. So I was cutting the G1 girdle facets and I noticed things weren't quite lining up with some of the pavilion facets, so I've marked the pavilion with a highlighter, recut certain facets, and then I'll recut the girdle again. So I've recut the girdle facets and all the pavilion facets now meet up correctly as they should. And one of the things is, when you're faceting, the first set of pavilion facets need to be cut accurately. If you don't, all the facets around it will not align properly. It's just one of the unfortunate things with faceting, you just cannot take any shortcuts. So next step will be to cut these pavilion 3 facets, and you'll see that in this scene now. So on to the second set of girdle facets. Last but not least, we cut the last 4 pavilion facets that set the culette. So as you can see, the last 4 facets have now been cut, and I've also polished the girdle outline. To complete the pavilion, I need to polish it now. I'm using a tin lap with a 50,000 grit diamond compound. In the following scenes, you'll see all the sequences of where the pavilion has been polished. The next step is to facet the crown, and I need to do a secondary transfer where I glue another dop stick onto the gem and remove the original dop stick. For those of you who don't know, the original dop stick is removed by heat. It's then placed into the quill of the faceting machine. The protractor angle is set to the desired angle, and then we start cutting the next 4 facets on the crown. The first 4 facets of the crown will meet a temporary center point and will form the girdle outline. Once again, the 100 grit diamond disc is used to grind away a lot of material, and then I'll use the 240 grit and 800 grit diamond disc to form a nice even girdle outline, if that's possible, because the girdle is a zigzag. The remaining crown facets will be cut in this order, and then once we've completed all the crown facets, we move on to the final polish of the crown. In the following scenes, you'll see that I've cut all the remaining crown facets, and I've used a very worn 800 grit disc to do this. In the following scenes, you'll see that I've polished all the crown facets in a sequential order, and this means that I'm getting closer to the end of another video. I would like to personally thank Tony for giving me the opportunity to facet one of his designs out of his zigzag series, and also such a design like this gives other gem cutters and those people interested in gems or buying jewellery a unique perspective in what's out there in gem design that is totally unique outside of the box of the conventional gem industry and gem design. In closing, I would like to thank all my regular subscribers and viewers. Thank you for all your kind words and encouragement, and if you're new to my channel, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Hopefully I've inspired you to want to learn how to cut gemstones. And also thank you to Jaws for your small cameos. So don't forget about the final reveal. It's bye for now and take care.